Hey, this is Christy and you're following my channel. We are following my routines and weight loss, even though I have ADHD and plenty of other excuses to fail. So we're getting back on track. I've been using my bracelet points. I am not wearing it right now just because I usually take it off before the last meal of the day, just because I know I only have one more meal and then I know to just, leave that at a 5. And everything's been going good. I've been working out a little bit more and enjoying my bars and pulls. Haven't injured myself. Of course, I haven't tried that move again yet. And also the planchette bars. So we're starting to get into some toning exercises, and that is really great. Not expecting the scale to move too much right at first because of the toning exercises, but since I'm doing the bracelet, we'll probably see that in the next week, and everything will just kind of start heading back down. Plus the extra muscle gained will make the fat loss happen even faster, and everything works out better. But I did run into a cute little trick. We decided we needed to budget a little bit more, so that meant cutting back on some of the groceries. We do it in a real reasonable way. I go to Costco, so I just get those bone-in skin on chicken thighs, and we'll just eat that with rice and some frozen vegetables every night. It's like $4 for all 3 of us to eat every night, and it's great, So what I do though is I get my bone-in skin on chicken thighs, and that's a lot of fat on there, but what I do is I turn it into 3 different products. I separate out the bones and the skins, and I put them on a roasting pan with some parchment paper and a wire rack lifted. And I lay out the skins, put some salt on them, put the bones with whatever little meats on them, and I bake that in the oven until it's nice and roasted. Then I take the skins out, pop those in like a Tupperware or whatever. Those can be like a snack attack or whatever. Technically they're high fat but low carb, but it's a calorie you're allowed to use. I like them. I think they're kind of like chicharrones on the chicken, so they're pretty good. And then I take a whole crock pot and I throw my bones into the crock pot, usually like 2 bags of bones at a time, because I like having a dozen or so bones in there. And I take some scraps from onion skins and garlic peels, and I put those all into there, and I make a big old bone broth. So I basically turn my chicken into a chicken with a snack, and then I use the bone broth to make like the rice or anything else that I want to make higher protein, and that's been saving a little bit of money. But then we also, like my high, protein milk stuff, that stuff's kind of expensive. So we switched back to the regular full fat milk just because it's like half the price when we get that one. But then that's my protein shakes. And then I was like, I realized something that was actually kind of silly that I hadn't realized before, is that protein shakes don't need milk. You can actually mix them with almost any drink you want. You can mix it with coffee. You can mix them with tea. You can mix them with your giant Stanley cup full of water. And this is a great appetite suppressant. If you are like kind of one of those people who needs to feel like constantly full, but you don't want to have a bunch of calories, I filled up with ice water. I like the ice water. For me, ice is a big deal. And then I just put 1 scoop of protein powder in there. That was the gold standard one, the vanilla ice cream one flavor. And I put 1 droplet full of stevia in there, and I swear it was like cereal milk, kind of sweet, It was maybe a little bit watery compared to like whole milk, but that whole drink then turned into 120 calories. 120, might be 140 calories for 24 grams of protein, which is absolutely fantastic macros. And you're drinking this entire cup of water, which suddenly becomes filling. And so I know protein waters are out on the market and stuff, but this is almost like a protein milk. And it really, honestly, that hit the spot. I felt like very, very good today. I had to, because I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and have 50 grams of protein for 240 calories. And so that was actually even more efficient than my normal protein shake. And it tasted good, and it lasted a good long time and filled me up. The one thing that you can't do is shake up your protein shake and then mix in the psyllium husks. and it won't mix in. It was like making these great big bubbly chunks and stuff. So if you want to do those in correlation, what you have to do is just drink your protein shake or the psyllium husk in separate drinks. But I did them kind of together, and they kind of like dosed up. It was like the fiber and then the big protein water, and that's keeping me just like extra hydrated. It's keeping me nice and regular. It's keeping me nice and full, and yeah, just keeping all those macros really in line. So we are trying to finally dial in. I feel like I have everything. I've got my bracelets, they've got the right materials. I've got all my cool workout equipment that I could possibly need to do any kind of stretching or calisthenics workouts. And I've got my protein powders, I've got my meal plans, and I honestly feel like even though we've been kind of wavering and doing all sorts of things, I think I'm actually ready to see the progress start to happen. And I really am glad that I've been kind of doing it this way, because I want to show people, you know, that weight loss is not usually linear. It's just like any other success. You know, you think you failed just because you didn't do it right the first time. You didn't fail. You didn't get it right yet. You know what I mean? Failure is when you give up. You know, that's when we absolutely fall off the cart. There's no more horse. There's nothing to get back up on. It's on fire. You know what I mean? And now we've failed. But as long as we're willing to keep going, then we're actually building off of lessons that we've learned from just not succeeding well enough. Or maybe we did succeed, but we got caught up, and it's like, well, are we going to keep catching ourselves up again, or are we going to actually keep going this time, you know? And I don't mean that in a sarcastic way, just, you know, it literally at some point we're going to stop getting caught up by reasonable things that slow us down, and that's going to keep us going. Another thing I like to do is I like to practice extreme intense gratitude, especially when things haven't been going exactly my way. I start to just really focus on like what I am grateful for. You know, I'm grateful for this house and this place where my kids are. I'm grateful for my health, that I'm able to do these workouts. I'm grateful for my digestive tract for not just throwing the food out or doing completely bonkers things. It's responding correctly. I'm so grateful that I've got all my equipment here and everything is going, and I'm just so grateful to have everybody around me supporting me. You know, as long as I start fitting into those things, that sort of pulls me out of any kind of funk I could possibly be in. And I've been in some pretty bad funks with the CPTSD, so I guarantee you this bubbly attitude did not form itself. But I had to learn, you know, and a lot of the things I learned was definitely from my grandfather, who was the president of the Optimist Club. And, you know, he basically taught me that you can't get anything done unless you can do it positively. You know, there's just nothing that really gets done correctly and negatively at the same time. And he sure was right. You know, he's a hard worker. Even his hobbies were work. He's come home from his job doing HVAC, and he ran a company. And he'd come out, he'd be out gardening all day long, spending the rest of the day. He was an old farmer man, and we all just kind of loved him. We try to follow in his footsteps. Everybody's got gardens, we all have businesses, and we all work hard when we get home too. Does that help us lose weight? No! We need to stay on track and do all sorts of things. So anyhow, we can do anything that we can. We can do anything we put our mind to, as long as we have the correct attitude. And I like optimism and the right attitude, and gratitude and optimism are my two favorite launching links to get up and get at it. So anyway, I hope that you are having a wonderful week. I don't really have much else to say, so I just hope that you're treating yourself very well. Cheers.